Good morning. It's kind of interesting. My most watched video was Don't Be a Dumbass Part 3. I think that's the title of it. About my experiences with RVs, driving across the country. And it's horrible. It really is bad. The fellow who sold me the RV told me everything worked as it should. Oh, hell no. And of course, he presented himself as a dealer in California. I didn't understand how they do things over there, and it was a fraudulent setup. It really was not very good at all. And so the main thing was the AquaHot or HydroHot did not work, and I had to go and I put a rebuilt unit in it. I wouldn't put a rebuilt unit in it again. I just buy a brand new unit. The people who do the rebuilding, they'll give you a year warranty on it. But if you buy the new unit, you're going to get a 2-year warranty on it. And the difference in price is like maybe 7 or 8% more money, and you get twice the warranty out of it. And the problem is the parts that are in these things, they're using Chinese bearings, ball bearings, instead of German ball bearings. And that's the factory that does that. So they have to source out better ball bearings on their own for these things. So it really is a shakedown kind of a test that occurs over time. And so I had a rebuilt unit put in, and they rushed it, and they left the back panel off of it. And I'm thinking, what do you leave that off? Oh, it makes it easier so we can service it when you come back in. We can see what's going on. Well, it actually makes it so that on the other side is the propane tank. That's fire danger right there. And when I called up on that, he says, well, those things fall off. I said, no, man, you left it that way at the place. It's his head installer. The main guy did that to me. He says, well, that's a mistake then. And it wasn't working well after the rebuild. That's why I called it in. I could not get it working right. The electric element was not working right. Finally, I paid another immediate. You need to get on top of these things immediately, otherwise your rig is at risk of burning down. Called another outfit. And the guy was in Quartzsite when I was there, and he thought he had it fixed, and we were running it on the generator. And so we didn't get to check out the electrical aspects fully as if it was plugged in. And then when I finally realized that I had electrical problems, that's when I called in. And that's when I was told, oh, you've got these 2 wires crossed. They're both black wires. You just have to uncross those wires. Well, hold on now. You're the expert, and you're telling me that I got to get in here and fix it myself. I don't trust myself. And then, of all things, I took it back because I figured, let him do this stuff. I just won't use the electric element. So I didn't have hot water even after I put the rebuilt unit in for a long time. And the rebuilt unit was like $10,000 to start off with. And by the time I was done, it was like about $13,000 on that. Could have bought a brand new unit for the same price, actually. I believe pretty close, real close. And then, so I took it all the way back. I hauled everything all the way back up there. And then got him to, he built a back panel. It wasn't as nice as the original one that came with the coach, but he cut a piece of metal and put it in there. I don't think it was as high quality as the original one, which really kind of bummed me out. And he found some voltage problems. Yeah, you got a wiring problem. Well, that's a separate issue. You got to get that taken care of. And I went off down the road, and the rig started to overheat because of what another guy had done to it. Who didn't know what he was doing and didn't care what he was doing, that outfit. And so I ended up parking, and I realized the next morning, the AquaHot's still not working. So I went all the way back there, and he took the thing apart, and of all the damn things, the bearings, he swapped out the bearings. The bearings were not good in the unit that he had rebuilt. Probably used Chinese bearings when he rebuilt it himself. So he swapped out and put in German bearings. Why didn't you just do that to begin with? And of course, the whole thing was blamed upon a previous technician that was making mistakes, and he had to let him go because he caught him making too many mistakes. I'm like, sure, right, yeah. Anyway, then I end up, and he replaces some of the wiring and some of the connectors on it and cleans it up. That's what the fellow had to do in the first time he put things together. And it was ready to burn. The wires were melting. It was ready to burn my whole coach down. Anyway, so there I am. I've had the original rebuild done, and then I've had another technician to come in, and he cleaned up the melting wires from the rebuild job. And we missed out on some problems with the electrical problems because of the electric element. It has electric. It's kind of a backup heat compared to the propane main heat source. And so I took it back to the guy, and then I had to take it back to the guy again. And then after that, I was making a trip all the way across the country. And I was making it a pretty quick trip. I was trying to go there directly, but the rig was overheating, and I had to go to another place to get. I had to get towed. It's just horrible. I can't go into it. Anyway, what ended up happening is I ended up driving all the way across the country with a rig that the diesel-fired furnace was working, which is good. I had hot water from that, but I didn't have the electric system working, and I had other problems going on with the rig. I made it across the country. I really shouldn't have made it. I mean, it was pretty bad. I get there and I tell him, look, this guy set it up so that I can't service it because it's too close to the door. Why didn't he mount it further in? And the fellow says, I came up with a solution much better than the other guy. So he cuts the lid in a certain way so that you can just get right into it. Put some nice plastic lipping on that lid as well, so it looks like it's a professional job. And so I can actually work on it without having to take the damn door of the motorhome off practically. You had to remove the struts, and it was very awkward to get in there. And what do we find? The wiring that was just done in Colorado, let's see, about, I don't know, I was broke down for a month there or so. 6 weeks earlier, the wiring that was done was melting again. Why? Because the guy used cheap connectors. So again, my coach is ready to burn down. They just don't care. They do not care. All that come down was using a twice as expensive connector, but we're talking about $1.98 parts, So instead of using a $2 part, use a $4 part. That's all it comes down to. But also poor work on tapering off the connections and all that. So I guess it's working. I should be finding out pretty soon. But I also know this. I've got to inspect that stuff on a regular basis to see if there's any melting of the insulation on the wires before she goes up. I mean, this is a nightmare. And that's the constant thing in the background, because these things burn so fast, so quickly. And that's what you have to be on top of. And of course, I spent money getting the tech to do it. And I was without the use of it for like a year, more than a year after it's past warranty, but we'll honor it. Yeah, sure you will. I filed a complaint with the main manufacturer. They really don't care either. They just want you to go away. So it's a nightmare. And of course, it's always the customer's fault. Well, we've got a hand in that. We have to maintain these things. We have to inspect these things, and we need to take a good look at them. So on a unit like this, you service it annually. You replace the burner nozzle and the filters. I think that's about it. It doesn't take very long, but if you go into some of these RV places, they'll tell you it's a $500 job. Some of them it's a $600 job. Others it's a $300 job. Some it's $150 job. But you'll need to have the parts and they don't cost that much. I mean, you might spend, I don't know, you might spend $30 for the nozzle and maybe maybe $90 for parts. And if you know what you're doing and you got access to it, they're telling me you can do it real fast. Matter of fact, the guy serviced it. It was like I turned my back and didn't watch him do it, and I turned around. He'd already serviced it. It's that easy. 5 minutes, maybe. So you do have to work on these yourself. You have to learn them yourself. And there's little tips and little tricks, like using the right connectors, terminating the wiring properly, using the thinner plastic panel, the cover for the electrical box, because it's actually a thinner plastic and it will melt quicker than the others. So if it's starting to heat up inside, that thing will melt before it catches fire. Yeah, when I bought it, it supposedly came with all the manuals and all the maintenance records. It didn't have that stuff. He had some, but nowhere near all. So I'm still operating in the dark with this coach. And some of this stuff is obsolete. They don't make it anymore. And even the people that work on it tell me, well, you know, they switch the wires around on these things. So sometimes they're connected up this way, and then the next year they did it the other way. So the color, you can't go by the color coding. You've got to be able to use a voltmeter on them to know what you're looking at. So I started using a voltmeter, but I'll be using it a lot more. You have to. It's not what I would call a lifestyle for the meek and lighthearted. You got to be pretty hardy in this, because these people will lie to your face. They'll go toe to toe with you, and they'll tell you got to have this done, or you got to have that done, or it's gonna, it's gonna go to hell in a handbasket. It's gonna burn up on you. It's gonna cause this trouble, that trouble. And if they find a little problem, they're gonna make it into a big one with the hopes that you're gonna buy. You're going to bite, and you're going to go for fixing something that really doesn't need fixing. They all want to do that. That's the way it is. So the integrity of workmen in this country has gone to hell in a handbasket, and yet we are going to be isolated here shortly from the rest of the world. Agent Orange made sure to stir up the rat's nest around the planet to get them angry at us. And we think, well, we're the good guys, right? We're always doing the right thing, right? Wrong. We've been doing the wrong thing out there for so long, and lying to the public about it, that we don't realize how much we're hated around the planet. When I was a little boy, they loved us, or so they claimed. They loved us. They liked us. They liked our money, that's for sure. But today, they don't want us around. And when they find out you're from America, it used to be they would be angry. And I remember going to school over there. They told me wear a Canadian maple leaf patch. So I had a ski hat that I don't know how I got it, but had a Canadian maple leaf. I had two of them with Canadian maple leaf patches on them. And so that's one of the things I wore over there, because the Canadians are accepted places and Americans aren't. And if you think Canada's your friend, they're not. They don't like us. They don't love us at all. They tolerate us because our government jacks them around, and their government really jacks them around. So I'm hoping that somehow or other we can begin to restore the republic and go neutral. But that's not happening. The people that control Agent Orange, the principal powers behind the throne, just won't allow it. And so I'm reading pretty widely, and I'm detecting that we're going to see some revelations come about, particularly about religion. They're going to throw people off. And so they're talking about the real gods appearing. And what they mean is the people that are the reincarnation or manifestations of the old Greek and Roman gods. I'm not making it up, and I'm not putting a lot of weight in it. I have the curiosity. I'll wait, and I will see. As best I can, I will wait and then do my own research. I screwed up on researching something after I reposted it, realizing man, that ain't cool. I did the math myself, and I come up with 5% of river flow is still within the normal means for the Ohio River. It gets down to as low as 3.5% of the total flow rate. But they have to post it up there like the earth is going to be divided right there. There's going to be earthquakes. Well, there's probably going to be earthquakes, and North America probably will be divided. We're divided politically and all of that, so I think it's... And then all of the seers and all of the people in the past that had maps of the future have got the Mississippi. It's like a giant channel, 50 miles wide, separating the halves of the continent there. Is that going to come to pass? I don't know, but I'm betting it will. Don't know when, but I would say within 20 years. And we've got other geological structures ready to go as well. I spent a lot of time last night thinking about what I was going to say, and this is completely different. So the RV lifestyle, I realize a lot of you are being forced into it, and it's supposed to be a cheap lifestyle. Well, it was when my parents did it, but back then, for $15, you got full hookups for the night and a nice camp RV park. Today, you want full hookups for the night and a nice RV park, you're looking at $70, maybe even over $100. It's like you're renting a room and all you're getting is a place to park your rig. And yes, you've got utilities hooked up to it. So the RV lifestyle is something that you need to go at slowly. I would say start slowly, and if you can get by on the lower budget travel trailer, that's the way to go. If you have to step up a bit, I think the fifth wheel is a good middle step. And if you can, stop right there. If you go Class A, it gets a little bit harder. My father preferred Class A, and I like it as well because everything's in the cabin. Your co-pilot, if you have one, can take care of things as you're getting down the road pretty quickly and look at things. You don't have things separated that you have to go outside of your vehicle, maybe in a hostile area or hostile weather. So I'm just going to close it at this. If you're going to, I know you need an RV because you got to have a roof over your head. But be very careful. As far as the inspections go, I don't know if they're worth it or not. I mean, Beaver wanted $1,900 minimum to inspect a coach for me. Right now, I think it would have been worth it, but at that level, you're not going to be buying it. So you really have got to get the full documented maintenance history, and because that'll tell you where you're at or where you should be at and where you got to go from. And when you have that, that cuts down in the diagnostic aspects of it and the time. So I'd recommend that you not buy anything that they don't have the complete set of records on. That documentation is important. And you got to look at the roof first and foremost. And of course, if you've got axles, you got to do the wheel bearings. Just count on doing the wheel bearings. It's a safety thing. And to inspect them, well, you might as well just put new, good quality bearings in there if you can get good parts. That is a problem. So I don't know what kind of advice to give you on it. I would say don't do it. And also I would say if you have a home base, you're far better off. You really need a home base because there's going to be times in which somebody says, well, you have to leave your rig with us and get a hotel. And I see this trip during the year, I think I've been in hotels for over 5 months out of the 7 months. I've been in hotels for over 5 months out of the 7 months. And 7 months I've been in the rig, and those have not been in comfort at all because the coach wasn't functioning, couldn't use the slides, couldn't use the hydraulic jacks. So hydraulics are very important too, and getting service on those is a drag because everybody makes like they're experts and they know what's going on, but they don't. You know, and there's always something they've never seen before, like my coach. There's things on that they haven't seen before. So that's the way it is. Yahweh bless.